Watts joins Michael Barrymore on Friday at 8 o'clock for My Kind of Music. Now this Sunday evening, the late ITV Weekend News.
Livestock burned tonight as foot and mouth disease spreads. Fowler lifts Liverpool to their first title in 6 years. And Billy Elliot star beats off Hollywood for a BAFTA.
From ITN, the ITV Weekend News with Katie Darrow.
Good evening. In the last 2 hours, the mass incineration of livestock infected with foot and mouth disease has begun. Agriculture officials set light to the carcasses of hundreds of pigs and cattle at the Northumberland farm where the outbreak is thought to have started. The fire is expected to burn for 24 hours. But the outbreak shows no signs of stopping. It's now spread to Devon. We'll have a report from there in a moment. But first, here's Helen Wright in Northumberland.
It is a scene not witnessed in Britain for decades. A 100-foot-long pyre burning the carcasses of hundreds of animals slaughtered as the countryside is gripped by an outbreak of foot and mouth. This fire will burn throughout the night. Every carcass must be reduced to ash to destroy all traces of this virulent disease. The grisly business of piling load after load of slaughtered cattle and pigs onto tons of coal and hay took almost 12 hours. 800 animals were destroyed, the majority from Burnside Farm, the suspected source of the outbreak. And experts say they can't rule out further outbreaks. Farmers here are terrified.
We're on a knife edge around here. It is quite desperate. I mean, I've spoken to an awful lot of farmers this morning and again this afternoon, and very, very worried, very, very worried.
That fear persists despite tonight's drastic measures.
This open-air incinerator will now burn for at least 24 hours. A vivid illustration of the devastation this foot and mouth outbreak is causing farming communities. Helen Wright, ITN, Northumberland.
As we mentioned, the disease has spread to a new part of the country. Officials today confirmed a case of foot and mouth at a farm in Devon. The farm at Highhampton has been sealed off. The farmer has been exporting animals to Europe. Farming leaders are calling the outbreak a nightmare scenario. Tim Rogers reports.
Tonight, the country lane leading to Burden Farm in Devon has been sealed off by police after ministry vets were called in earlier when signs of infection were discovered in some of the animals. The farm at Highhampton is one of 13 owned by the farmer in the southwest. On this one alone, there are 1,500 sheep and a herd of 600 cattle. All will now be destroyed.
Well, it's really the worst possible news we could have for the southwest, one of the biggest livestock production areas in the country. To have foot and mouth confirmed in this area is very bad news and reinforces the need for the precautions that the Ministry of Agriculture have put in place.
And while investigations continue, there's also concern that the farmer is a major exporter to Europe.
It is possible that product left the United Kingdom, either animals or livestock product, before the ban was enforced, and certainly before we knew we had this condition down in Devon. We are tracing all of the movements, and that includes movements out of the country.
What's causing particular concern about this latest outbreak is that it's happened in a part of the country which has so far been unaffected. Ministry vets are working through the night to establish whether the disease might have spread beyond here, but it'll be several days yet before they're certain. Tim Rogers, ITN, Devon.
The cricketing legend Sir Don Bradman, widely regarded as the greatest batsman ever, has died at the age of 92. The Australian became a sporting hero during the 1930s and 40s, rewriting the record books. His average of nearly 100 runs every test match has never been equalled. A major overhaul of the criminal justice system is expected to be announced by the government tomorrow. Ministers will unveil a 10-year crime plan which will target persistent offenders and aim to get more experienced police officers back on the beat. But the Tories say the plans will just highlight Labour's failings in office. Football, and today's Worthington Cup final was decided by a dramatic penalty shootout. Liverpool lifted the trophy, their first for 6 years, but they were taken all the way by the underdogs at Birmingham. Matthew Rumsey reports.
The Millennium Stadium was the venue for today's League Cup final. Premiership Liverpool faced Birmingham City of the First Division. Liverpool captain Robbie Fowler introduced himself to the Birmingham defence after half an hour of play. His intuitive strike was the only goal scored in 90 minutes of football. The match was into injury time and all but lost for Birmingham City when referee David Ellery handed them a penalty lifeline. An outwardly calm Darren Pearce took it and put the match into extra time. This extraordinary save from Westerveld kept Liverpool in the contest, and the woodwork did the same for Trevor France's team. The event went to a penalty shootout. Jamie Carragher kept his nerve when it mattered. His goalkeeper then saved Andrew Johnson's shot and gave Liverpool League Cup victory for a record 6th time. Matthew Rumsey, ITN Sport.
Manchester United tightened their grip on the Premiership title today with a 6-1 drubbing of their nearest rivals, Arsenal. Dwight York led the goal rush, scoring a hat-trick as his team cruised to a 5-1 lead by half-time. They're now 16 points clear at the top and need just 5 more wins to claim their 7th title in 9 years. The teenage star of Billy Elliot was the toast of tonight's BAFTA Film Awards in London. 14-year-old Jamie Bell fought off Gladiator star Russell Crowe to win Best Actor award. He said he'd been so sure he wouldn't win that he almost didn't turn up. Jonathan Swain reports.
In true Hollywood style, London laid out the red carpet to welcome some of the film industry's biggest stars. One of the biggest cheers was for the lead actor of Billy Elliot, 14-year-old Jamie Bell. The arrival of Tom Hanks also thrilled the crowd, as did Russell Crowe, who despite a busy schedule had flown in especially from Australia. Although nominated for Best Actor alongside Jamie Bell, he thought the teenager should win it.
15 years old with mental acuity and ability to handle these sort of things that he has. Mate, at 15 I was nowhere near that, and I think he's a wonderful little bloke and I really enjoy his company.
And once the awards were underway, his hopes were proved right. Jamie Bell, who was plucked from obscurity to make the film, is now winning awards, and he seems to take picking up the Best Actor in his stride.
To be nominated with all these guys, like Tom Hanks and Russell Crowe and Jeffrey Rush and Michael Douglas and all these guys, and I was kind of thinking not bothering coming.
But Billy Elliot was beaten in the Best Film category by the Roman epic Gladiator. It also won another 4 awards for its production and special effects. Julia Roberts, who wasn't at the ceremony, was awarded Best Actress for her role as a single mum in the film Erin Brockovich. Her co-star Albert Finney received a special award for his lifetime's work. The stars are now gathering at a party in central London and doubtless discussing who'll pick up an Oscar. But despite all the BAFTAs, the night really belongs to the teenager Jamie Bell, who it seems is now able to pick up more than just awards. Jonathan Swain, ITN, Leicester Square.
And a reminder of the main news tonight. Agriculture officials have begun burning the carcasses of livestock infected with foot and mouth disease. And the former cricket legend Sir Don Bradman has died at the age of 92. That's it from all the team here. Good night.
Gas, electricity and telephone.
Good evening. We are expecting some horrendous weather across the UK over the next 36 hours, particularly for southern Scotland and northern parts of England, where we are expecting some heavy bursts of snow. Now, through this evening and overnight, we've seen some cloud move in and also some outbreaks of rain, but as that rain is hitting the cold air, that's where it's turning to snow, particularly for southern parts of Scotland and northern England, hitting northwest Wales later, and there will be turning to sleet. To the southeast of that, though, remaining dry with a widespread frost. So tomorrow morning starting off grey with further outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow. The snow most significant across more northern areas here, where we are expecting some accumulations. Now through the day it will gradually move its way southwards, so even though the southeast will remain dry at first, it will become wet here with outbreaks of rain. The snow may turn to rain across more northern areas for a time, but then later on turning back to snow as a cold blast of air moves in from the north and wintry showers here, and temperatures 1 to 7 Celsius. For Tuesday, unfortunately, more snow to come in the east, best of the weather in the west, where we will see some sunshine.
Power Gen. Gas, electricity and and telephone.
Forced by the Mozambique floods to give birth in a tree, 1 year on, GMTV returns to catch up with the baby who became the symbol of hope in the midst of disaster. And is Europe taking Britain for a ride? As Kurdish refugees head for the UK, a GMTV special investigation exposes the backdoor routes into this country.